This is the monthly review for semester 3. The subject is biology for grade 7. So we first learned about absorption of water and mineral salts. We said that the absorption of water occurs in the root hairs. We said that the root hair is a type of cell, and absorption of water by the roots is related to transportation, and that's the release of water vapor through the organs of a plant. We said that most of this release occurs at the level of the leaves. The crude sap is a diluted solution composed of water and mineral salts from the soil. The crude sap first is taken up from the roots, and then it travels to the stem, then to the leaves, and then to the petals. So this is an upward direction. The conducting vessels are found in the stem. This is where most of the crude sap is found. And then we learnt about photosynthesis and elaborated sap. Photosynthesis occurs in green leaves when they are exposed to light. It is the production of organic matter from minerals. And elaborated sap is a liquid containing this organic matter that circulates in all directions. The excess organic matter is stored in the reserve organs such as the tubers, the fruits, and grains. Lastly, we learnt about the respiratory gases exchange. We said that we measure the amount of oxygen using an oximeter. Usually with animals, if they put in an enclosure, which is a closed sealed box, the levels of oxygen decreases, and that's because animals, they breathe in oxygen while the level of carbon dioxide increases, and this is because usually animals release carbon dioxide. So they take in oxygen, so we expect the oxygen to decrease, and they release or breathe out carbon dioxide, so we expect the levels of carbon dioxide to increase. And to test for carbon dioxide, we use lime water, and that usually is clear. When it comes in contact with carbon dioxide, it turns turbid or cloudy. Now we will solve the questions from the exam review. Question 1 says, we place a fish in a large test tube filled with water. We connect an oximeter to the test tube. We start recording the amount of oxygen in water every 1 minute. The results are shown in the table below. Question 1a says, draw a graph that shows the variation of the amount of oxygen gas as a function of time. So first we draw the axis. So here is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Eleven, 12, 10 hours, books. Okay, so it's something like this. Okay, and 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, also an arrow at the end. Now time is always on the x-axis, so time, 80 minutes, and the amount of oxygen, gas, in centimeter cubed. Okay, and now we plot the graph. So 0, 12, 1 at 10, 2 at 8, 3, 7, 4, 5, and 5 is at 3. And then we can stop. Okay. This needs a title, a graph showing the variation of the amount of oxygen in gas as a function of time. We always have to put scale. So every 1 centimeter is 1 minute, and every 1 centimeter is 1 centimeter cubed. Question 2 says, analyze the obtained results. Remember, we start at time 0. At time 0, the volume of O2, so that's oxygen and water, is 12 centimeter cubed. And then we talk about the graph. So as time increases, the volume of O2 decreases till it reaches the volume 3 centimeter cubed at 5 minutes. This is how we analyze. We talk first at the first box we have, so the first entry we have. Then we talk about the shape of the graph, and then lastly we finish off with the last result that we have. So what can we conclude? I conclude that the fish is taking in oxygen. What's the role of the oximeter? So remember, the oximeter measures the amount of O2, which is oxygen. How can we prove that the fish is also releasing carbon dioxide? So we use lime water. Remember, lime water is how we test for carbon dioxide. And if it turns cloudy, so if it goes from clear to cloudy, this is how we know that carbon dioxide is being released. Question 2 says, read the text and observe the figures below to answer the questions that follow. During respiration, some animals release respiratory movements to ensure permanently the circulation of air or water. An experiment is conducted in an animal to recognize the nature of gas X released during exhalation as shown in the figures below. So here, figure 1, have air without gas X. So here it's being inhaled into the lime water, it's being exhaled into the lime water, and the lime water stays clear. While here we've got exhaled air, so with the gas X, but the lime water turns turbid in figure 2. Question A says compare the aspect of lime water in figures 1 and 2. Remember when we put compare and those figures we use the word while. In figure 1, the lime water is clear while in figure 2 it is turbid. Identify gas X. So identify, we have to justify. Now we use lime water. Lime water means it's a test for carbon dioxide. So we can say it is CO2 because in figure 2 the air changed to lime water from clear to cloudy or turbid. Lime water is a test for the presence of CO2. In the laboratory, we measure in water where there is a fish the volume of oxygen gas and that of nitrogen gas at the beginning and the end of the experiment. The results are shown in the table below. Here we've got the beginning of the experiment, here we have the end of the experiment. We've got the volume of gas, oxygen, so at the beginning of the experiment it's 12, while on the end of the experiment it's 10.4. The nitrogen in the beginning of the experiment is 7.3, while in the end of the experiment is also 7.3. Compare the volume of oxygen in water at the beginning and end of the experiment. Compare. Now, when we compare numbers, we say greater than or less than. So, at the beginning of the experiment, the volume of oxygen or O2 is 12 mil, which is greater than at the end of the experiment which is 10.4 mil. This word here is very important to use. What do you conclude? I conclude that fish is taking in or breathing in oxygen because the amount of oxygen is decreasing. Compare the volume of nitrogen and water at the beginning and the end of the experiment. Remember the key words what we said. So at the beginning, of the experiment, the volume of nitrogen is 7.3 mil, which is the same as at the end of the experiment. Also 7.3 mil. Nitrogen gas is not used by the fish. Justify why. So, the nitrogen gas is not used by the fish because the volume of O2 at the beginning and end of the experiment stayed the same. Question 3, statements true or false, correct the false ones. Organic matter contains starch, this is true. For photosynthesis to occur, carbon dioxide, light and starch need to be present. This is false. Okay, so for photosynthesis to occur, carbon dioxide, light, and not starch, we need chlorophyll, and chlorophyll needs to be present. Excess organic matter is stored in tubers, fruits and grains. This is true. Organic matter moves in all directions. Now, elaborated sap contains organic matter, okay, and this moves in all directions. So we can say that this statement is true. We can also say that it's false and that it's stored in the leaves. Okay, so it's stored in the leaves, but yet the elaborated sap moves the organic matter in all directions. So we can primarily say it's true. Elaborated sap moves in the downward direction. This is false. So as we said before, the elaborated sap moves in